It's the weekend and I am heading down to Greenpoint for a big wing foiling session in a pretty nice northerly. It's today's forecast is a bit funky. We got northerly in the morning, swinging somewhere in the south in the afternoon with a bit of a cold front coming through. So yeah, want to make the most of this morning northerly, so heading down there now. I know for some of you might have been expecting the Battle of the Small Foils in the F1 range comparison video this week, but I'm still digging through a little bit of nuance with the Eagle X versus the Skate that I really want to have a comprehensive look into. What it's boiling down to is just, I thought the Eagle X was a bit slower than the Skate 550, and there's a couple things. I haven't really had a chance to get it in flat water in big breeze, which is looking like what I'm going to have today. And the other side of it is digging into the nuance of when a foil feels fast versus when it's actually fast. So what I'm finding is, like the Skate 550, I've hit my top speeds on that. It feels really fast when I'm at speed. It's a difficult feeling to explain, but then I jump on the Eagle X and I'm hitting similar speeds, but it doesn't feel fast. So it puts me in this weird position where it's like, well, do we care more about a number on a screen or that feeling of adrenaline and exhilaration when you're hitting those top speeds? The Eagle X is just so stable at speed that it feels a bit easy, like it feels too easy. It's almost like a bit of a cheat code, if anything. I want to dig into the nuance of that and really see what the top speed is, so that for those that care about racing, I'll have a definitive answer to which one's the fastest around a racetrack style situation. So that upwind VMG, downwind VMG, and reaching speeds, I guess. I've discovered recently the Waterspeed app. I feel like I'm a bit late to the party on this one. I'm suddenly realizing that a lot of people are using it, but they've got a Black Friday sale at the moment. I'm hoping I'll get this video out on Monday, which is currently Saturday the 23rd, so I'll push to get it out so that for those that see it when I release the video, the Black Friday sale will still be going. I think it's like 15% off the pro subscription or something like that. But yeah, I'm keen to also use the Waterspeed app to help figure out which foils are objectively the fastest in the data. So I'll be using the Garmin watch, which I've been using in the past as well, and the Waterspeed app actually lets me sync back all of my Garmin sessions, which is really cool. See, after this session in the debrief, I'll do a little run through of what the Waterspeed app offers for those that haven't seen it, similar to me. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be an epic session, and I promise I will get the comparison video of the F1 foils out very soon. Awesome. I'm going to go get set up. I'll catch you guys out in the water.
One eternity later.
Well, that was not what was expected. Yet another promised forecast of nice strong breeze, live reading showing like 20 knots, and then just skunked. But the upside was I managed to pump up in a gust just before it died out, and then I set myself the challenge of getting the full hour in of pumping around, jibing, tacking, whatever I could pull off. So it was a good session for getting those reps in and really dialing in my Heineken jibes in light winds, and just getting some confidence with tacking in the light winds on the Eagle X600 as well. So didn't quite get to tick off what I wanted with the higher wind range, top end speed with the Eagle X in sort of flat water, but I think I should still be able to make a good call on some previous sessions that I've had using the Waterspeed app. When I get home, I'm going to have a quick look at what the Waterspeed app tells me about the session. So excited to dive a bit deeper into what the capabilities of the app are and how it can be used going forward. So I'll jump to that now. So we're going to jump into the Waterspeed app to have a look at today's session. Cool thing about this so far is I've been able to sync all of my old sessions. As soon as I connect to my Garmin, basically just loaded in everything that I've had since I've had my Garmin. I think I might have been able to specify how many months worth of activities to bring across. It shows you your max speed or however you want to break down your sessions, which is really cool. The thing I like about this over just using Garmin direct, Garmin doesn't automatically go and grab the wind speed, whereas this will give me the wind speed for the session up the top, so 12 knots, and the wind direction. And then a really cool thing about this is the default the default for me when I open the app was it shows me a timeline of speed and heart rate, which seems like coming from Garmin, it's basically the same thing. But the nice thing about this is there's like these little drop-down menus where I could change this to direction. So when it comes to my comparison video of all the F1 smaller foils, I'm going to be able to dig out the direction that I'm going upwind, the direction I'm going downwind, and also have the speed data. With that, I can calculate velocity made good, VMG. For those from a sailing background, you'll understand what that means. It's basically how much ground you're making towards where you want to get. So if you're going upwind, it's how quickly you're moving directly upwind, even though you're sailing your angles, and then the same for downwind, it's how quickly you're going downwind, even though you're sailing your angles downwind. So it's a really important metric for when you're racing. It would be good to get that data for comparing the foils. Today's session was so funny. It was like, went out, pumped up in a gust, and then it was just a game of don't drop, which I actually really enjoy. It's a bit of a side note, but I find that massive gains are made when you get to play that game of don't drop, because it absolutely pushes you to your limit in terms of how intense you want to work and how accurate you need to be to not crash and end your session, because basically your session's only as long as you can stay on the foil, because you don't have the breeze to get you back up on the foil afterwards. So yeah, a lot of gains made today, a lot of repetitions, as you'll be able to see from the track. So if I zoom in here, basically what happened, I went out, and when I was confident in the breeze, I sort of wandered upwind. So over here, we launched, we wandered upwind. As I got up here to the top, I was like, oh, the wind's looking a bit light. So turned down, came back downwind. And what I was noticing, did a few little laps while I had a little bit of confidence, but my confidence diminished with the wind speed, with the wind conditions, and I ended up just mowing the lawn basically, repetition after repetition after repetition of Heineken jibes and tacks, mainly heel side tacks, because I'm finding those to be the most efficient for racing. What I was finding was, as the wind sort of came along the beach, it compressed where green point sort of sticks out a little bit. And so you get a little bit of extra breeze in this region down here where I was doing all these zigzags. Whereas there was a few other wings out in the water, like slogging along, trying to get a gust to get on foil, and they'd wander out a bit further because you could see a dark line further out, but there just wasn't actually breeze reaching in close enough to us. And so your best bet was staying close to shore today. Another thing I've noticed is you can jump in and you can add in your equipment. So I want to dive into those features a little bit more and understand how you can track what equipment you use. So I can just see how many sessions I put on each foil and that sort of stuff. And when I want to do these comparisons in the future, I can come back and get data for foils from last year versus foils from this year, or different topics like that. Same with wings as well. But yeah, only scratching the surface so far with this. I'm sure there is a lot more to uncover.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
I'm editing this video and I realized that the Waterspeed app is actually a lot more powerful than I initially thought. The mistake I made was my Garmin watch defaults to other as the activity type when I go out in the water, because I've set up like a custom foiling data screen on my watch. But if I come into Waterspeed app here and then scroll down and select wing foiling down here and then hit save, it actually gives you so much more data, which for those that have used the app probably already know this, and I probably look a bit silly. But yeah, the cool thing is from the session that you would have just watched, you'll be able to see that, yeah, I've done 18 tacks, 69 drives. It says I've missed 8%, and I think maybe that's something to do with this foiling speed, or something to do with the accuracy, the GPS data from Garmin, because the last 2 drives that it was saying I did, one thing I find funny is it's got starboard and then port board. I think that might need to be corrected. But yeah, the last 2 drives it says I did, I averaged 1.4 knots, entered at 4.5 knots and exited at 0 knots. And then the last one basically 0 knots the whole time. So if I look on the map, it'd be interesting to see if that's just when yeah, there you go. So it's picking up when I landed on the beach and started walking up. But a cool thing about this is I can come in here, I can go trim crop, I can quickly find the spot where we can call the session finished there, and then endpoint all the way to the right. And then when we just go trim, it'll chop off that last little bit, so it's just the session. And then the other thing I could do if I wanted would be to trim off the start where I walk down to the beach, but I'll leave that for now. It's not too much of a worry. So then, yeah, that should update the amount of tacks and jibes and things like that, so that the data is a bit more realistic. So somewhere in the 60s of number of jibes, really getting those repetitions in. I just wanted to capture how powerful the Waterspeed app is when you use it properly. I'm going to do more of a dive into this app as well, because I think there's a lot to learn and a lot of data that I can pull from it.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
If you guys are interested, they're having a Black Friday sale at the moment, 15% off. Yeah, my comparison video, I'll try to get that one out as the next video, so that should be Monday week. So not today when this video is being posted, but next week. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.